Hey,
Hello, thank
how are you? I'm
I'm
really
good.
sorry.
How are
Yeah, I'm a
you?
mess, so that's why I was like trying to insist of like not having that video.
That's good. Thank you.
No worries.
All right.
So, I guess like you can ask the questions and I can do my best like trying to answer what I can.
Well, yeah, where are you from? Sorry, my
I'm
voice is very
Syrian
good.
from Aleppo and
Aleppo.
yes, usually like I use like to do journalism. I covered like actually different areas, being like actually covering even the coalition like strikes in like against ISIS even from the start of like the campaign. Like I even like managed like to cover it inside the east north areas too for a couple times. I think like I did it there like 4, 5, or 6 times. Uh, did some activities like regarding like to my background in human rights too. So yeah, that's me.
Okay, good. Do you still live in Aleppo?
No, I'm actually now in Turkey.
Okay.
Yes,
So my voice is echoing. Sorry.
really sorry.
I try not to talk. But can you tell me what you think about this operation?
Uh, yeah, that's a tough question because like you will find always like a different like opinions regarding to the like the operation now, and all those opinions like coming like from different view of points, and I'm gonna talk like in the like most concerns for like the majority of the Syrians, which is actually like the civil casualties that may occur like during these operations, which is actually my stand here, and we all actually like very curious about what is like actually the results of this operation, like regarding like to the displacement, which has already like been announced that Red Syrian like crisis, like Red Syrian Crescent actually like being announcing that it's already like have more than 65,000 been displaced like so far since the start of the operation, and there's like different like numbers of casualties from both sides like being named, specifically from civilians here I'm talking about. So yeah, we all like have concerns. We are worried about it. I'm gonna make sure not like actually to put my personal opinion on it because uh, the way I think about it, that that there's a difference in interests like in the political sides in it, and us as Syrians, like nobody actually like asked for our opinion about it. Like it's already been forced like in the foreign policy in the area, and we're just can deal like with like our courtesy of like trying to have a ways like to reduce like the casualties from it, to be honest. Are we with or against it? Like that's actually an answer you will find like mainly for five answers for it in the Syrian,
Right,
like
that's true.
yeah. So some they will say that they are like with it for reasons like starts with that uh, there's actually uh, what we call like the five no's, which actually like one of them mainly focus in the unity of Syria, which is actually being named like too many times that this might be not possible. Like if the Kurdish like forces like actually stayed in the place that they are in now. Others like actually have their own like opinion about that Kurdish people still have their right like actually to decide if they actually want to be like part of this country or not. That's another concerns. And third, actually, which is at least like the way I see it, is actually from the majority of the people still thinks that we have like to think about civilians first.
Okay.
Yeah, the regime side is the fourth. Actually, have his own opinion about it that he have like to be like in the control of the areas, and yeah, and here we go. That's what we have so far.
Okay. Well, the how Turkish people are reacting
You mean like the Turkish, like in
around
general? You
you.
mean?
Around you.
Well, yeah, you will also like find like the main opinion about that they are actually like going with the operation
Okay.
because everybody actually talking about the security concerns that Turkey have about like regarding to the Kurdish side, and like there's like actually a historical kind of like situation between like the Kurds and the Turks, like specifically like in the in the south area of Turkey, and that's another like point. But now here, since we are talking about the Syrian side, so it's 100% like a political matter, and yeah, it's challenging like actually to talk about it. But like the answer that we all like actually, that we think that the will of the people in Syria actually like have to be considered. We think that any like political actually situation, like whether they actually like this is a unity or like actually whatever like other like options that Syria may have, it should be actually in a stable like political situation, not like during like a civil crisis and like a crazy war, like having interference of almost like 33 countries in it. It have to be like an independent like actually decision from the people themselves in a stable situation, not like trying actually to take the advantage of any like political opportunities, like actually to force any like foreign like interest in it.
So if we say Turkey is taking FSA right now, right?
Yes.
But in every FSA group is supported by different countries, right? And then
Yeah.
are they still supporting those countries? I mean, the FSA, or Turkey is supporting all of them?
Uh, yeah, that's another big question.
It's hard.
So yeah, so too many like there's different types of like the support like FSA actually receiving. So there's like actually the one actually being considered like as like under the observation of the Americans. It's come like with two names, like two main names actually, the MUM and the MUG. So the MUM is actually the one actually coming in the north side of Syria. So a lot of those like actually FSA armies like actually now called like the Syrian National Armies being actually transferred like to this operation after being like actually part of the what we call MUM, which was actually under the observation of Americans but like funded by a couple like Gulf countries. So it's kind of like a weird complicated kind of like a weird complicated uh, like a question, because like now we are talking about having like actually political like refusal from American for like a site being observed by American before, but in the same time are we actually can be considering like those people like actually representing the like the all will of like the Syrians like actually I'm not sure about that too. Yeah, so we can go again like to the point that uh, they still like representing like part of them. They still like representing like the interests of revolutionists, but that pushing like the like foreign interest again like in it, like make it like difficult like to actually know if they are actually having like that decision by 100% on will, or the other decision would be like actually go first like with fight an asset, for example.
How about Idlib? Anybody is protecting Idlib?
Uh, you have to be like more specific about that question.
Okay. Well, Assad is still bombing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Should FSA still fighting against Assad force, or no? It's kind of because it sounds like a
yeah.
Turkey. All the focus is on
No,
Turkish
in the
operation.
political manners, like the area there is actually like under what they called like the cessation of hostilities, which actually mean that all like the fights against Assad being sustained. So there's like actually what we call now like the observation points, and basically like the foreign like policy again like pushing any like intern like interest from like even the FSA's armies to not interfere with any actions with assets.
Oh.
So basically you can say that there's nothing but like actually retaliation, like small retaliations from points, small points sometimes, but it's just retaliation. It's not like actually a designed like operation can't be like against Assad, because all now focusing about like ISIS first, and they are pushing like all uh, the Assad like side or anything like regarding like to the situation like to be in the political part only.
So it's more complicated. How about Russia?
It is.
What are they doing?
Russians? That's actually like the easiest question here, because
Okay.
everybody knows like that Russian like fully supporting like Assad part, and
Right. But
in that part like they actually go on.
Erdogan is, I mean, Turkey is also cooperating with Russia. Well, in the name of fighting ISIS.
Another like complicated situation. We're so
Right.
lucky with that, because like you're just like talking about like the Turkish like policy regarding like to what's happening now, and everybody know that they are actually like using what's so called like in all like political studies with the parallel stance, which mean like actually they are like more close like to Americans when it's actually in the interest of Turkey, and more close to Russians when it's like in the interest of Turkey again. So it seems like that in the current situation about this operation, they are like more close from the Russians.
Yeah, that's why we are like, what does Turkey want?
I'm not sure like that I understand what
I
you were
mean,
saying.
it's like, well, the closer you said,
They are now like when we are talking about like this, the the operation like currently like happening, which is actually what we call like the Peace Spring operation. It's already been clear like the Russian actually more close like to the Turkish people like in actually this operation, since in the statements like being actually announced by the Russian side, I'm not sure like who exactly now, but they were saying that that could actually go uh, with the concerns of the unity of Syria somehow. So yeah, this seems like to be close about that part. And in the recent, like I think there was like a council, like Security Council meeting today, and yeah, Russian like made sure like in the close discussions, that they're actually against like the stop of the operation somehow.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
I know your heart is burning, beating. Can you sleep? Okay.
We all do.
Okay.
We have to
Good.
actually.
At least. Okay. Good. Oh, thank you very much. That
Thank you.
was great
Thank you.
information too. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Bye bye.
All right. See you later.
See you later.